So let's move on to BC Camplight. The single you gave me is I Only Drink When I'm Drunk, and I think I described BC Camplight as a sort of indie rocker or something in the intro there. Not a very accurate description, really.
Not really. I mean, as we've said before, this kind of indie rock or indie pop or just even alternative as well. I mean, it's such a broad genre. You know what I mean? I really don't think that's necessarily all that fitting for this guy. This is, I mean, that was the only song I'd heard of his when I recommended him to you. He just kind of popped up in my kind of Spotify feed, through the kind of Spotify algorithm, obviously based off stuff that I was listening to at the time. Very interesting sound.
I think this is really cool. It sort of opens up like a post-apocalyptic western. It's got that sort of reverberating guitar sound that you hear in old westerns, but it's got like a sort of weird, slow, booming, decaying, thunderous noise in the background. So it's all very dark and moody. And then it's got that line that you mentioned last time round. This afternoon I thought about Buckfast and space and danced around my kitchen singing Ace of Base. As an opening couple of lines, that's as cool as you can get, really. And it's got this kind of floaty, sort of laid-back stoner vibe, I suppose. There is a sort of chorus with the kind of I only drink when I'm drunk refrain, and it's got these kind of weird auto-tune vocals and a tinkling piano sound, and it just ends on this massive battering ram drum rattle that you'll join in with every time it happens. But that auto-tune vocal has got the potential to put a lot of people off, but I think it sounds really cool and it's quite fitting with the other sort of weird noises that are going on in the song. And I just like the fact that it's got that dark and moody sound. It's got a sense of humour. It's also kind of bright and poppy at the same time. It reminds me of the sort of stuff you might hear from the Flaming Lips or maybe the Super Furry Animals kind of stuff.
That's exactly what I've said. But yeah, well, I said reminded me of super furry animals. But yeah, you're right enough. I mean, it wouldn't be out of place on a Flaming Lips album.
Yeah, I think it's excellent, and I was really surprised by how much I liked it. So I think, again, it's an 8 or a 9 easily if I were to rate it. I think it's a really good track, and I haven't had the chance to listen to anything else by BC Camplight yet, but I think the album's out now. No, is it an EP?
So this is one of the singles. So I Only Drink When I'm Drunk. It was released on the 26th of February this year. It's one of the singles released from his up-and-coming fifth studio album called Shortly After Takeoff. I think there's a single of the same name that's been released as well. I can't remember if I've listened to that one or not. I've listened to the other single though, and the album's due to be released on the 24th of May, so next month, towards the end of next month, almost a month to the day. Again, with Creeper's album, it's available for pre-order from his label Bella Union's merch website, as well as kind of other websites. I really enjoyed it. I've pretty much written word for word exactly what you've said. With regards to the kind of introduction, I described it as opens with this kind of haunting, almost Western-esque sounding guitar with weird ethereal sounds playing in the background, which is more or less how you described it. Yeah, it's I suppose on the face of it, it's quite light-hearted. I suppose, obviously, as you said, it kind of opens with that kind of funny lyric, and then similarly, I think the second verse opens with similarly odd lyrics. I can't be bothered running after rabbits or Mancunians.
Yeah, yeah.
However, I was reading an interview with the singer, who's called Brian Crinstenzio. I probably haven't pronounced that. I know for a fact I haven't pronounced that properly. This is what he said of the track. People that are struggling in life, be it from stress, loss, or mental illness, are more likely to behave in self-destructive ways. The idea of only drinking when you're drunk is the notion that sometimes we hurt ourselves because we are hurting. The verses reflect the feelings some of us have when we are plodding through our lives. The choruses are what happens when the feelings get the best of us. Make that what you will. I kind of felt the other way around, though. I kind of felt as if like the chorus was more upbeat and uplifting, and the verses were quite odd, haunting, disjointed. More what's the word? More reflective of somebody going through hard times, as it were. Yeah.
It's almost like plodding along in a sort of depressed state, I suppose. And then the chorus is, the chorus is definitely more upbeat. I think artist descriptions or interpretations of their own songs are often quite complex, and often you listen to something and go, I don't get it, mate, but I think the song's great.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily get the reasons they've written it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Aye, but I would kind of agree. I gave it kind of an 8 or 9 out of 10. Definitely. Yeah. Well worth a listen.
This afternoon I thought about Buckfast and Spain. It's not finished. It's finished.